You are listening to the Soul Ascension Show with angel healing founder Calista. Welcome into our sacred space where you can truly be your radiant self. It's time to get inspired, to get creative, to be who you came here to be. Rise and shine. All is here for you.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the second Soul Ascension Show with myself, your host, Calista. I can't believe 2 weeks have passed already. It just goes to show that when we are ascending, when we're in this path, there is no time. What feels like 24 hours in a normal day really is about 12 or 8. So days feel very much shorter as well. But here we are, and I just want to say, first of all, thanks to everybody who tuned in last fortnight and has since shared your feedback on how you found the transmission. I'm really glad that you received so much clarity from the last show when we were talking about what the nature of ascension is and sharing ways to live in the moment to benefit your life and to really help you on your journey of ascension, your journey of awareness. And some of you have mentioned that you've shifted in your awareness and now observe yourself and your thoughts. You're becoming more of a witness in your life rather than allowing your thoughts and your actions, allowing yourself to be controlled by them or reactive to them from others. And I'm really seeing this in my own reality too, especially the last few weeks have aligned to antagonists, either manifesting in people or in situations where I could have easily allowed myself to be triggered and to move out of my heart, but I kept neutral and stayed centered, stayed in that moment, which just goes to show that we're always learning. It truly is always a skill day in this path of awareness. The more that we evolve, the more that they can be to refine and to give light to. Today's theme carries on from the last show. So I'll be sharing that as we raise our consciousness, we become more crystalline. Our bodies change at a cellular level to hold, vibrate, and emit higher frequencies of light. And this can bring about much bliss, as I'm sure a lot of you who know who are already on this path. But it can also bring up much challenge if we resist the process. Anchoring more light within ourselves means that we can become more sensitive, just like a crystal. We can very much feel our environments and the vibrations and the thoughts of others, and if we don't ground ourselves, if we don't embody ourselves every day, that this can really lead to unease and a lot of resistance. And we shared a little bit about this last week, looking at, I think it was Nicola's question, all about shielding and all about becoming an empath, becoming sensitive. How do you navigate through that if it's causing you unease? So today I'll be allowing my crystalline self, my inner source, my higher self, you could say, to come forth and share. And my source gives me the title of the show, but apart from that, that's really all I get. So I'm not sure where we'll go today, but that's just part of the fun. It's just part of the trust being in this journey. So I'll aim to answer any questions that you have. If you want to bring them into the chat room, or you can call in live, and I'll answer them from the vantage of source, but hopefully deliver them in a very down-to-earth, practical way that you can then use them as tools in your life. Because I'm truly all about keeping things simple and practical. So many spiritual teachers can over-intellectualize what ascension, raising our consciousness is, but in truth, it can be simple. It is a simple process. And the masters and adepts that I have had the grace to meet in my life present more as children than adults. They see the world as a playground to enjoy rather than a plane of suffering that we have to fight or battle against. So if you would like to send in your questions, Producer Greg is on hand right now in the chat room, I think. So just type in your questions, or you can call in live, which would be amazing to hear you. I think depending on where your questions go, that really dictates the flow of the show. So if you have any questions about where you are on your ascension, what it means to become crystalline, what is that all about, please send in or call in with your questions, and it's best to use Skype if you can. Okay, so on with our show. So my inner being gave me the title of becoming a human crystal, which I really love. It's quite a catchy title, and I feel it describes to a T what happens as we ascend into the being we came here to be. And like I share a lot with my students, just like a diamond emerges from the rock, sometimes we may not know our worth until we begin to shed and release the old, until we start to walk this path. And during that process, some of our facets, just like that of a diamond, can come into light. They're witnessed, they're reflective, they're appreciated and loved, while some sides of our being are still embedded in that rock. They're in the shadow, laying dormant until we're fully ready to embrace all that we are. And when you choose that path of ascension, it's like saying, I'm ready to emerge from my slumber. I'm ready to come out of that rock and witness all parts of myself, my strengths, gifts, shadows, light and dark. I'm ready to embrace it all and to witness all as divine. And in that moment, you choose to wake up. And for some, this can be a subtle process to recognize, a very slow progression, but for others it can really feel like you've been slapped in the face and you're dormant one day, and in the next moment you feel so alive and you see life in colour and with so much beauty and creativity that never before you've seen. And a big part of my path is to help souls to move from that dormant rock state into their radiant diamond self. And this includes supporting their awareness to awaken, and in that understanding, know of their vast multidimensional self, to witness all those facets. And it truly is a privilege to hold that space. There's no better joy, I feel, than seeing a soul remember who they are. Just like a caterpillar bursts through that chrysalis and finds new life and new purpose, they also meet with the most beautiful pair of wings that allow them to fly anywhere they wish. And since I found my own wings, I've been sharing teaching programs to support souls to awaken. And before we go really deep into the topic of today, I'd like just to talk briefly about one of these programs, just to put into context today's theme. So the course is called Aligning to Your Crystalline Self, and it spans 12 months of self-discovery, drawing from the teachings of the most on-purpose physical as well as etheric, non-physical crystals that we can attune to raise our consciousness. Its aim is to support you to become a human crystal, and what that means is truly to illuminate your gifts, your skills, your talents, to fulfill the life and the soul's path that you came here on earth to achieve. And the program connects you to the heart of crystals, which are a tool from source, I believe, to help us to remember who we are. Much of the program draws from Atlantis. A big part of my soul, my source, is Atlantean, and I've chosen to bring back that facet, if you like, and hold the space for others to remember their Atlantean selves. The way that I see it when I tune in to the collective is that every human being right now has had at one point a life in Atlantis that is within them. And the reason that I feel that most souls have been Atlantean is because that was the last golden age that humankind has witnessed. And since the dawn of man, we have continued to cycle through 4 ages. The golden age is the longest of the other 3. And we're now about to come into the new golden age, which some people call the Aquarian age, the time of knowing, rather than the Piscean age, which was the age of intellect and duality. We're really coming in from the head space into the heart. And during the times of Atlantis, when we experienced that last golden age, we were gifted the use of crystals to support our well-being, but also to strengthen that connection, that awareness that we had to God or our source, our creative selves within. We lived and breathed in the 5th dimensional awareness that we were talking about in the last show. And because of this vantage, we understood that each crystal, just like us, had its own consciousness that we could easily commune with. We didn't need to look up a book to learn its properties, its chemistry, or to feel its frequency. We simply just spoke to the heart of that crystal. We didn't use words, we opened up our intuitive senses, and we could commune, just as I'm speaking with you now, very easily with crystals. We didn't place ourselves apart from them or nature or any other living soul for that matter. We lived in oneness. There was no separation and there was no duality. We were neutral. We were devoid of light and dark concepts and judgments. We were completely neutral. And slowly but surely, we are ascending back into this golden age. Now, it may take some time. Some are well and truly on their way. Others are just kind of catching up. And the way that I see it is that before we come into this life, we choose the reality that we want. We choose the reality, the level of slumber or the level of awareness is really in our own hands. We become that creator. But much of human consciousness is awakening. You only have to look around you or feel that within you, those changes that are coming, that are birthing forth, to know that we're coming back into the new golden Aquarian age. And here humankind is being given another opportunity to align to the heart of life, of all life, and to build relationships that transcend the intellect of the mind into the knowingness of the heart. And the Aligning to Your Crystalline Self program, really, this is what the heart of it is. It's to give you the tools to make this a reality, if this is the path for you. And hopefully these series of radio podcasts will help to hold the space for you too. And there truly is many different paths of ascension that one person can make, and we'll definitely do a show all about that because that's quite an in-depth topic. But right now, if you're here and you're listening to the show and you're attracted to myself and my teachings and what I have to share, then you're definitely on the path of ascension where you're becoming more crystalline in nature. What does that mean? It means that you're becoming more sensitive to your thoughts, to your actions, to the thoughts and actions of others. It means that you're slowly moving from the head into your heart. You're moving from living your life from the past, or cycling the past, or being caught up in future projections. You're really coming into the moment, and from that space you're living your life. You're realizing that you are the creator of your own life, that you can manifest anything that you wish, that spirit truly gives you everything that you need moment to moment, step by step, and you're surrendering to that. And as you become more crystalline in nature, the veils between you and everything else disappear, they dissolve, and you open up this magical dialogue to things like crystals which really reflect our consciousness. They're a fantastic mirror to use for healing, for meditation, for manifesting, hence why the Atlanteans used them for everything. In every home, Atlanteans would have crystals, and as a group, as a family, they would manifest around their central crystal, and they would wear crystals in jewellery to connect them to their planet of origin, or to connect them to whatever, to their soul families, or there was a weaving, and this weaving also spiraled out into nature. They could perceive nature, and they could perceive the elementals, the guardians within each element: the fire, the earth, the air, the water, and they could tap into the elementals, which the program that I share opens up that space for you to talk to the elementals and really receive from them their support. And the more that you open and commune with the elementals and nature and crystals, ultimately yourself, you grow. You become more enlightened, which basically means you anchor more light within your cells, within your DNA. You move from what's known as being two-stranded in your DNA to being 12-stranded. The codons within your genes, normally a person has 20. We're now starting to see, since round about 1985, children coming through with 4 extra codons activated, and this is lending superior psychic skills, which once we thought were supernatural. Sometimes people still think they're supernatural, but really it's just the latent dormant gifts that were within their cells are now awakening and becoming activated, and these beautiful children coming through are immune to diseases. They can speak to each other without using words. They know telepathy. It's second nature to them, and we can tune into this too. We can turn on our codons. We can turn on our cells. We can enlighten them just with our allowance. And I'm getting taken back to when I lived in the States, which was about 2 years ago now, and I was living in an intentional community, and there was this beautiful man that I lived with, and I don't know if I should share his name. Let's just share about him. He was a beautiful soul. He was approaching 50, but he had the body of a 20-year-old, the most amazing skin, and just health radiated from him. His eyes were so blue and clear, and he really did not look 50. Anyway, he spent a long time every day just sitting in meditation with a smile on his face, his heart open, and he would focus on his DNA. He would focus on his cells, and he would consciously ask them to mutate, to switch on anything that was dormant for his highest and greatest soul intent. And you could see it, you could physically see the result of this. And now if you needed any more proof, we had a couple that came to join the community, and they stayed for a couple of weeks. They were just sussing out the land and seeing if they wanted to build on it and join us. And they brought a biofeedback machine, which, if you've never heard of these before, they can scan the energetics of the body and flag up to you where there's imbalances in each of your 10 bodies, like emotional, mental, your radiant body, your aura, and even within your cellular DNA and your structure and your chromosomes. And my friend asked for a session, and when he received the results of that session, the couple the man of the couple used to be a medical doctor, but now he was doing this as a profession. He'd went from that logical side into more the holistic side, and he was working with the biofeedback machine, so he could appreciate the physiology of cells and how they work and everything like that. And he witnessed the cells of my friend. They were completely different. He said he'd never witnessed chromosomes like it, and that he shouldn't have chromosomes like this. And he shared with him that he consciously mutates them. He consciously activates them at a higher level to anchor more frequency of light to become enlightened. And that was such a beautiful confirmation to all of us, that when the will is present, so is the self. I said that last week. I use that term a lot, but it's true. When your conscious will is there, when you program yourself, like programming a crystal, if you work with crystals, you know that that manifestation is brought into reality. And I'm also getting told to share about an experience that happened today before we go into calls or our journey. So I was sharing a little bit about how the veils in our perception collapses when we become more crystalline in nature, when we ascend. And there's no better way to see this than going out in nature. I'm a big advocate of going out into nature and just immersing yourself in her, and just being open to what you receive. And today I had a midwife appointment. I've only got, I think it's about 6 weeks before I give birth, and the midwife was sharing with me the recent results of my blood, which shows that I'm anemic. And I have been really tired and things like this, which I attribute to other things. But I was open to hearing what she had to say, and that was fine. And I had around about a 2-mile walk to walk home after the midwife, and I was fairly uncomfortable. My little boy ribbon is getting really big in my belly, and a 2-mile walk, which would be nothing to me before I was pregnant, was really a bit of a challenge today. And I didn't have a phone to call a cab, so I just had to surrender and walk home. So I just opened up, felt the energy of the sun, which was streaming down, and I just called in ease. I called in support. I called in what I needed, and started to feel better. And all of a sudden I was walking past some beech and birch trees, and for me, beech and birch trees are the unicorn trees. Unicorns are keepers of the soul, and they can really give to us so much physical support when we need, and also spiritual support. But I just found my left hand reaching out, and there was a branch that had broken away from the main branch, and I thought, I'm just going to grab that. And I was carrying in one hand this branch, and in the other hand I had it open, and I was receiving the sun. And in that moment, I could feel my vibration, my energy pulling from that branch blood. I know that sounds really absurd, but my blood levels are low, and I was feeling that as well, and I could feel physical strength coming in from that branch and that support, and it really made me feel so much better. That before I knew it, I was home, and I recognized that, wow, I really got a lot of support from holding that branch. I really got a lot of support from the sun, the masculine in the sun and the feminine from the earth, and I really felt an appreciation for that. And if I had intellectualized that and went into my head, I would have said, well, why am I picking up a branch, and what is this branch going to do for me, and why am I breathing in the sun? But really, I didn't have to do that. I just was in my heart. I was in my spirit, as you are when you come into your ascension path and you really anchor yourself in it. And I did that 2-mile walk and I felt a lot better. And it just goes to show you that you can call in anything that you need at any time. We can sit and we can work with crystals, as I said before, and they reflect to us anything that we need, especially working with a clear quartz crystal. You can call in from that clear quartz anything that you feel that you need in that moment, and it will be given to you. And if you live your life from that viewpoint, from that vantage, that everything will be provided by Spirit on a needed basis, then you never need to live in pain. You never need to live in discomfort or fear, for truly it doesn't matter. Everything is always there for you. And in truth, if we just continue to live like that, moment to moment, each breath, each step, knowing that Spirit is there, knowing that our true self is always there supporting us, then we will ascend in grace, we will ascend in ease. And I feel so many of us can struggle and be in resistance. And I would really like to hear from some of you if you've got questions or if you want to call in. I'm just going to look in the studio and see if there's any callers. Okay, we have a caller with a question. And there might be some questions in the chat room. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to a break, and then we'll come back with your questions. Thank you. Hi, this is Calista, and I'm excited to share with you that my program, Aligning to Your Crystalline Self, has just 4 days left before enrollment closes for the year. This online course spans 12 months of divine alchemy, supporting your path to ascension, well-being, and living in your joy. It truly is my life's work up until now, and brings you the direct teachings and attunements from 13 of the most on-purpose crystals for our new age. Meet crystal divas, angels, guides, elementals, and merge with ease with your own inner guru. I offer a free Skype session to all that wish to enroll, and right now you can receive 20% off if you sign up in the next 4 days. For more information, visit ethereallight.co.uk or email me at calistaascension@gmail.com. You deserve to live the life you seek, and this course can truly provide you with the tools to make those changes, to shift that energy, and move you into the life that you so deserve. I look forward to supporting you in this beautiful journey.
For powerful, on-purpose meditations, visit vibedeck.com/Calista. Active energy journeys to empower prosperity, joy, wellness, and love to flow freely in your life. For online courses and personal sessions, visit facebook.com/Calista Ascension. Be who you came here to be. Arise and shine.
Welcome back. This is the Soul Ascension Show with your host Calista. And I see that we have some callers on the line. So I'm just going to ask my beautiful host Greg. I'm going to put you on live, Greg, and you can share what questions we have.
Hi, Calista.
Hi, Greg.
Hi. So one of the questions on the chat room is actually from Colleen, and it is it possible as you ascend to lose time to seem as you are being transported?
To lose time, was that, Greg?
Yes. So as you ascend, can it appear that you lose time to seem as if you are being transported? while I'm sending?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just put you on mute, Greg, and I'll come back, okay?
Okay.
So yeah, thanks for that question. That is that's a good one. Yes, it can do, absolutely. And physics actually teaches us that as we ascend, as we come into the fifth dimension or even the fourth dimension, what felt like 24 hours in our day really becomes 12 or 8, and it can seem like we're constantly battling against ourselves to do what we used to do a couple of years ago in a given day, but really we can't do that anymore. We can do as much as we can. And this is why it's really important to come and live in the moment as much as you can and not feel like you have to do so much, efforting to achieve. Rather, just be in the flow of what's happening moment to moment, and you'll feel yourself more present, like not being taken off anywhere into different dimensions. You'll feel yourself very much rooted into where you are. But if you want to know more on that, I would suggest that you work and you call in Archangel Metatron. Now, Metatron is an angel that teaches us and helps us to deepen our understanding of time and space in a linear form, but also time and space as we can see it in the fifth dimension, which is completely different from linear time, because time's not just happening from 0 to whatever 2015 that we're in now. Time is more like looped, and there's not just this reality, but there's many realities. There's many parallel realities that run concurrently with ours, and it can get a little bit confusing, but Metatron has a beautiful way of sharing it very down to earth. He's a practical angel, and if you ask him to enter your meditation and your dream state, he will provide you with more answers on that. Okay, I see Greg is chatting to another caller, and there's another question. So what I want to do is I'll just wait for everybody to catch up and to speak to each other. Okay, what I think we'll do is we'll go into a journey, beautiful souls, and this is going to be another soul immersion journey. And I wrote before in the little summary of the show that I was going to take you into Golden Atlantis, but I'm feeling that's not where our collective source wants to go. So I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just going to allow my source to flow. And if you would like to get yourself into a nice comfortable position, and if it's safe to do so, closing your eyes and just starting by taking a nice deep breath, breathing into your belly and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting yourself just come into the moment, releasing from the mind, releasing from everything that we've been sharing. Bringing your presence, your awareness into this moment. And here, there's nothing for you to let go of. There's nothing for you to do other than simply be. And let any events of your day, any situations, any people you've met, just all those connections, just melt away from you now. breathing yourself into this moment. And imagine yourself now outside in a place in nature that you love to go. Somewhere that fills you with bliss, somewhere that opens your heart. And in this sacred space, choose to sit down now. Close your eyes. Tune yourself into all of the senses, all of the awareness of this beautiful place in nature. Breathing into its air. Feeling the sun shine down upon you. Warmth of the sun. Feeling it illuminate your face, and behind your eyes, seeing the white glow of the sun. And just like drinking up the most delicious juice, drink up the sun. Fill yourself up with it now, letting it move through your skin, breathing it in through your breath, breathing it in through your third eye, just watching its flow within you. Watching the flow of that sun as a beautiful golden light. And it may dart around your body fast, or it may just flow effortlessly. And keep breathing in the sun's energy, filling yourself up from the tips of your toes, tips of your fingers to the top of your head. And breathe out the sun into your aura, into your light body, into the space around you. And for a moment, just merge into the sun. There's no separation from it and you. You are one. Breathing in its radiance, becoming its radiance. And we're now going to bring in that divine consciousness even deeper, taking it into your cells, into your DNA, into the strands and the codons and the gaps in between. And we're going to ask collectively under the law of grace that any dormancy within you, anything that is still asleep, that is ready to be born, birthed, activated, for your highest soul intention to be awakened now. We ask for every cell in your being to be awakened into source light. And if you just hold that intention that every cell in your body lights up with this beautiful golden glow, uploading into your conscious awareness now your spiritual and psychic gifts, your skills from all the golden ages that you have experienced, not just Atlantis, but your time on other planets, other star systems, where you were fully embodied in your light and your awareness. We ask for that grace now to come into your being. And anything that would otherwise impede this process, any vows, blocks, contracts, entities, attachments, for all to be given into Source now, to be dissolved into the light for your highest and greatest good. And so it is. Transcending nothing, just accepting everything, immersing all in the light of who you are. Consciously taking that golden energy, the light of the sun, to every cell in your body. In particular, we ask for your nervous system to upgrade its consciousness, for the cells to commune with each other at a deeper level of awareness. We ask for your hormone, your endocrine system to expand and raise its vibration, awakening the crystal clear clarity of your pineal gland, hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, and your center of divine love, your thymus gland, to Source now. We ask for your skeletal body to strengthen, yet become enlightened, your organs to upgrade, your emotional body and mental body to balance and come into neutral awareness. And any other gifts that you are ready to personally receive, may these be downloaded into your awareness now with ease and grace, and so it is. Breathing in now, and breathing out. Breathing in, allowing everything to integrate, and breathing out. One last time, breathing in, and as you breathe out, taking the light through your body and into the earth, grounding anything residual into Mother Earth, into the ley lines and the grids of Earth, to enlighten her consciousness. For Mother Earth is a soul just like you and I, and is very much on her path of ascension. And any time you can breathe your light and awareness into her, you're both helping each other to advance, helping us all to advance. Let's take one more breath together before we close, breathing in and breathing out. Wow, that was a beautiful journey. Thank you, Source. Thank you all that came forward to share that with us. I am definitely feeling a need to have a glass of water. Luckily, I have one beside me. Please do drink as well to help you ground and integrate. That was a very powerful integration, and it felt like very much an attunement to raise the consciousness within your cells, anything that was dormant, to really switch on those codons that I was talking about before. And I could really go into depth of this subject, and we may do that at another point, but for now I see that we have more questions, so I'm going to go back to Producer Greg and ask what's coming forward.
Hi, Calista. So we had Kathy on asking, how can I raise my vibration?
Hi, Kathy. That is a huge question. I think, thank you for that. I think definitely what we just did there will see you on your path if you repeat that journey. If you repeat the journey from the first podcast, I'm starting to see that these podcasts are going to really follow, they're really going to raise consciousness one after the other. So if you first use the first Soul Immersion journey we did, and you can get that podcast on my page, facebook.com/Calista Ascension, or just through Blog Talk, and then follow with the meditation that we just did there. But other ways to raise your vibration. Oh, there's so many, Kathy. Whatever the flow is for you. Some people choose to go out into nature every day. I'm a big advocate of walking the earth every day to really ground and embody. Often people can ascend. They can be very much on their ascension path, and they'll do meditation, and they'll connect with all these beings of light and all these angels, and everything's fantastic, but they won't embody them. They won't allow that energy to descend, and that is so important. So getting into your body every day really helps to raise your vibration. So you get everything in one when you go for a walk in nature. You open up, but also you integrate, and you allow everything to descend and come back into your body. Dancing is another great way. Singing, letting your authentic naked voice come out and be heard, allowing your soul to sing, is very powerful. And I was at a workshop last week when we had to sing for 15 minutes with no intention other than just opening your mouth and letting your soul sing. And wow, that was truly powerful for raising your vibration, and also bringing to light just what was ready to release in order for you to, move through another ceiling, peel back another layer of that onion, and come more into the heart of who you are. You may also want to come and join the program as well. We only have 4 days left for the Aligning to Your Crystalline Self program, and that is a 12-month crystal immersion, and it's geared towards raising your vibration, taking you from, first of all, knowing what your intuitive self is and strengthening your intuition, all the way through to knowing what your soul's purpose is, aligning to that, and ending with activating your light body and meeting your soul family and star brothers and sisters, which can feel really way off in the distance, but it doesn't have to be. That 12-month immersion journey really guides you through nice and gently, and you can take it at your own pace. I would recommend that if you can. Okay, I'm going to go and see if there's any other questions. Kathy, I hope that answered that for you.
So hi, Calista. Yes, so this is my question. So when you align to your crystalline self and that, does this bring about any challenges, as you're raising your awareness and that? Does it challenge anything in your old life as you begin to change?
That's a great question, Greg. Thank you. Yeah, it can do. And again, as we spoke about before, it really depends on whether you're in a state of resistance or not to moving forward, or whether you're being in the moment and you're just allowing yourself to gracefully move forward and raise consciousness. Now, more often or not, it's not an easeful journey. It can be, it absolutely can be, and the more that we become anchored in this path, it does become easier. But at the start, if we go back to that analogy of a diamond, some facets might be in the light and some facets might be in the dark. They might be shadowed. And when we choose to look at those shadows, it can be challenging. It can show us parts of our personality that don't serve us anymore. It can show us old patterns. It can show us self-abuse or self-sabotage, or it can bring up grief. It can bring up hurts. It can bring up areas of unforgiveness in our life. And if we choose to process them and be in the heaviness of continuing to process and process and process, then we'll just create more to process. And I know a lot of souls who are in that fourth dimensional state, very much light workers, very much healers or readers, but they're still reveling in their shadows. They're still reveling in the density, and they truly don't have to. But you have to be objective. You have to be an observer. You can't judge a person's path. Everybody is as awake or as asleep as they need to be for their own divine path. The way that I see it is, life is like a big cinema, and before we come into this physical life, we'll queue up and we'll pick what kind of movie that we want to watch. We'll pick whether we want to watch and be involved in a drama or a comedy or a romance or a thriller, and then we'll go and get our food. We'll go and get everything that we need, and we'll queue up and we'll buy our ticket, and then we'll go into that movie. We'll incarnate and we'll be in that movie. And we can choose to be an actor in that movie, or we can choose to sit back and be in the audience and observe it. When you're an actor in that movie, you're very much caught up in the duality, in the situation, the experience. Everything feels very much small. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, when you're in that midst of whatever drama or whatever comedy or whatever romance you've decided for in that given life. But when you choose to start to wake up, you move from being the actor, you move from being that active participant to then sitting in the audience, and you sit back and you observe and you witness. And in that moment, you can decide whether you want to continue this life, to continue watching this particular movie, or you can get out of that cinema completely and move into non-physical, or you can, which most people choose to do, you can go and just watch another movie. You can go from something that feels like a drama or a tragedy into something more light-hearted, like a positive tale of rebirth or transformation, and you can be an observer of that. And really it is as simple as that. I like using that analogy quite a lot because it helps us to see that everybody is divine. Everybody is God at the end of the day, but depending on the path that they have chosen, they might be portraying to you the victim. They might be portraying to you the jealous husband, or the or the vengeful sister. You know, they might be, because our family is our greatest teacher at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, they're the ones that we really have to either battle against or accept the most. So yeah, if you keep it light-hearted, you keep everything in perspective, and know in your heart of hearts that you can get out of any situation, you can get out of any movie and change the channel anytime you want. You are totally in control. Then there won't be any challenges. Or if there is, you'll take them on the chin. You know, you'll be much more light-hearted about them. Greg, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question. That's great. Thank you very much.
Is there anything else, anyone else in the chat room that wants to share?
No, there hasn't been any other questions in the chat room.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Greg. Okay, beautiful souls. I'm just going to run through what we've done today, if I can remember. It feels like a bit of flurry, this show. We have looked at what becoming crystalline means in terms of ascending. We did a really nice journey of switching on the dormant cells within you that you may have had that were ready to become radiant, were ready to emit more light and activate. And I just want to share a little bit about, before we close, this is taken from one of the modules. There's 12 modules of the program that I was talking about, and this is the second module, which is called Living in Your Heart, and it's guided by a crystal called petalite, which looks a little bit like rose quartz, but it's more opaque in nature, and it's got a higher vibration. And this is what it shares. Walking the path of alignment, walking the path of your crystalline self, hinges on the choices that we make. Some see alignment as a spiritual process that requires hard work and discipline to achieve, but this doesn't have to be the case. Alignment is simply the allowance of coming home to the self. By letting go of resistance, we come to see that we are already there. And this is something that came through when I was writing this module. I saw a vision of myself standing in the middle of an unending road and fell into the choices I make for myself every day. I thought about the energy I birth every day and pondered, do I effort to achieve or do I effortlessly allow? And in that moment, through the vantage of my heart, my crystalline self, I made the conscious decision to effortlessly allow. For when we let go of effort, control, and personal judgment, we realize that all we have to do is breathe in and out. Simply, just breathe and we are there. We merge back into our heart, back into our truth, and into our joy, our loving self. Beautiful souls, here is moving from hoping to believing, and in the divine knowing of our heart that we are forever aligned and abundant. Sometimes we just need to get out of the wilderness and back onto the track, onto our path, to realize that we are the path and everything in between. So until next time, rise and become infinite, and know that you are the one that you've been waiting for. Thank you.
You have been listening to the Soul Ascension Show with your host, Calista. Come join our community page at facebook.com/Calista Ascension. Share your feedback to support others to rise up and shine. Be inspired. Be creative. Be your radiant self. All is here for you.